finally cooled down a little bit. Man, it's been 106, 108 all day. So I need to run down to the parts store, hunt down some gaskets. Let's go. Pretty sad state of affairs when you can't find just basic 3-inch header collector gaskets in your town. So I bought these thinking they were just the standard paper style, but I realized they were kind of heavy right when I got them, and actually these are copper. I've never used these. If you guys have used them, let me know in the comments. I'm not ready to try them. I'm just gonna go down to AutoZone. I bought these at O'Reilly's. That's all they had, so I'm gonna run down to AutoZone and see what they have. I'm gonna keep these. I'm just gonna throw them in the toolbox, you know, in case, I don't know, I may need them some other time. Maybe I'll just throw them in the trunk of the car and just keep them there just in case I need them. But for now, I want to put some just regular carbon gaskets or paper gaskets on it. We have a few car shows to do tomorrow morning. So right now we're going to prep the car. Like I said, it's finally cooled down. It's like maybe in the high 80s, where it was in the high hundreds all day today. It was like 106, 108 all day today. So finally it's cooled down just a little bit. We can go into the shop and do a little bit of work. So anyway, let's go hunt down some parts. All right, found some basic gaskets, but check this out. Mr. Gasket, Ultra Seal. These are just paper gaskets with a little bit of a film on them to help them seal better. $34, all right, for just basic gaskets. 34 bucks. Now, to O'Reilly's credit, the Cometic copper gaskets were $21.99. So $21.99 for copper gaskets. Little ring on there, little fire ring on there. $21.99. $34 for just paper gaskets. All right, well, no matter. We're gonna have to throw these on there, and we'll just keep the copper ones as backup. All right, let's get the Chevy out so we can work on the 57. Haven't fired up the Chevy in a while, so let's see how it does. It does have a red top battery, and those tend to hold a little bit of a charge. So let's see. A couple of pumps. Ooh, almost had it. Give it another shot. There we go. I love that Chevy. That might be my most favorite car I've ever owned. So let's take a look at the 57. Let's push these things out of the way. And so here's the issue. Here's your collectors, both sides. Oops. You need gaskets for both sides. Now, if you're wondering, what's the deal? So the headers on this car sit super low. If you look at the deck here, where the car is sitting on the tires, look at the headers. Look how far they come out under the frame. This is a car frame here. The headers are like literally right there. We've got maybe 2 inches of clearance, maybe. So yeah, running down the road and stuff like that, you end up catching them on stuff, and it busts up the gaskets. So anyway, let's replace the gaskets real quick and fire it up. See if, because what happens when you bust a gasket in here, you get a tick. It almost sounds like a lifter tick. It's like a tick, 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 tick. You know, and the more you rev the engine, the louder it gets. So it's annoying. So like I said, let's put the gaskets on, and let's see if they work. So another thing that happened, excuse the mess, haven't been in the shop in a while, it's been too hot. So these are the bolts that were on there, right? We broke just about every bolt. All the bolts broke. Look. See? I had to hit them with a big impact gun. We broke, it's 6 bolts. We broke, I want to say 4 out of the 6. So this is the gasket that was on there that was ticking. See how it's missing a big chunk out of it? And you can tell right here on the bottom when they would scrape on the street or whatever I was hung up on. So that little break right there was creating a huge ugly tick. So anyway, let's put the new gaskets on. Unfortunately, I'm by myself. I can't record me putting the gaskets on. So, you know, I'll just put them on real quick. We'll get the car down, fire it up, and see what else we do. I want to clean the white walls. The white walls are filthy, and once we get it down, I'll tell you guys a little bit of a story about that. So, all right, that took all of about 15 minutes. Not counting the exploding Loctite. So, yeah, I put a little bit of Loctite on there. I don't have any lock washers, but these nuts are serrated. They have little grooves on them, so hopefully they'll lock into the metal. You don't want to over tighten these because then you'll warp everything, right? But they're on there pretty tight. You can see a little bit of the Loctite on there. Fortunately for me, the car doesn't have any kind of crossover pipe, right? I mean, if you put a crossover pipe, the exhaust system tends to sound better, but because it equalizes the pulses. But when you have a crossover pipe, it makes it really difficult to work on exhaust systems because everything is held together by that crossover pipe. Now you can do a bolt on, or you'll do some bolts in the center, but yeah, this is really easy. So anyway, let's work on this one next, and we'll get the car down. I got those on pretty quick. Actually went on a lot easier than the other side. The gaskets, what I meant to say, I was saying paper, they're actually like a graphite. They have like a graphite coating on them, and that kind of helps to seal. These are the nuts I'm using. See, they're kind of serrated. They have little ridges on them, and they're opposite of the way they turn. So hopefully they'll lock into the metal since I'm not using any kind of lock washers. So other thing I noticed while I was under here is this. What's that say? 4/17/23. That means that's the last time I changed the oil on this car was April 17 of 2023. That's over a year ago. Now, in my defense, I do check the oil consistently. Mostly before I go out on a drive, I'll pull the dipstick real quick and check the oil. So the oil looks clean. It looks nice and honey-like. It's not black and burnt. And besides, you know, this is not a daily driver. I mean, we drive the car maybe, I don't know, maybe twice a month, sometimes not even. I think the longest run it's had, I think it's been parked for 2 or 3 months at a time. But yeah, it's going to be time for an oil change, probably before the weekend is over. Now that I went ahead and dumped all the oil out of my oil drain pan container there. So it's empty now. So I'll go ahead and do an oil change on it. Yeah. So anyway, let's get this done real quick so we can get the car down. All right, that's done. So I'll probably, well, I don't know if I should give it a retighten after I drive the car, because it does have the Loctite, and if you go over them again, you're gonna break that Loctite seal. So yeah, I'll probably just drive it until I hear something, and then I'll just give them another good and tight. Here's the other side. So that's done. The 57 does have a 700 R4 overdrive transmission and Flowmaster mufflers. It's got the original 283 engine. Actually, it's a matching numbers engine to the car that was rebuilt. So that's all right. It's got decent power. I do have a 6.0, actually a 6.2 LS for the car. Just haven't gotten around to it, man. I've been busy. But anyway, so I was saying about these, you don't want to over tighten them. If you'll notice, since it's 3-point, if you over tighten them, you'll end up warping them. You'll end up warping the flanges like right there, and then you'll get leaks out of there. So you kind of just want to give them a good and tight and call it a day. So anyway, let's get the car down. All right, let's fire it up. See what happens. There we go, nice and quiet again. It's got Flowmaster mufflers on it, so it's a little loud, but it quiets down. It's got tailpipes all the way out the back, but yep. So I still have not fixed the headlight issue with the car. Still does not have headlights. Well, those are the high beams. That's weird. It's got high beams, but watch when I put the low beams. Boop, no more headlights. So somebody said, oh, it's a grounding issue. Well, it can't be a grounding issue if the high beams still work, right? So the high beams work, but the low beams don't work. So that's weird. So, yeah, it's just been too hot. It's going to take some time for me to dig into it. So I just haven't gotten around to it. So, yep. Anyway, I'm going to put the Chevelle on the lift, leave the 57 on the bottom since I'm going to be taking it out in the morning for a car show. And, yep. All right. I still hear a little bit of a tick. Not as bad as it was. Man, I'm wondering if it's the actual header gasket at the head, between the header and the head. For right now, I mean, it's quiet enough. But yeah, I'm probably gonna have to go over the bolts on the headers itself and probably replace those gaskets as well. All right, we definitely have a bit of a tick off the passenger side. So in the morning before I leave, I'll go over the header bolts at the engine, right at the head, and I'll give those a little bit of a good and tight. What happens if you bottom out that header flange? It moves everything, so it might have moved the header up on top, and it might have loosened those bolts. So I'm just going to give them a quick, good and tight, making sure they're good to go. If that doesn't fix the problem, then I'll probably replace the gaskets between the header and the head, and then I'll check the gaskets at the flange again to see if that's still leaking. If it's still leaking, we'll use some high temperature silicone, let it cure for a little bit, tighten them back up, and that should cure the problem. So yep.
Next morning.
All right, so I'm gonna check the bolts up on top here real quick, if I can get my little magnet light to work. So we'll check these out, see if any of these are loose. They're usually, let's see, they're usually 7/16. Yep, 7/16 they are. Oh man, can't get to that one. I don't know if you guys know this, but 57 Chevys do not have a lot of room to work on. They're super, oh yeah. Yep, bolt is super loose. That explains the tick. Yeah, these bolts, oh man, these bolts are like ready to fall off. Okay, all right, so I know what it is. let me finish tightening these up, and then we'll see how it goes. I hope it didn't blow the gasket out. Sometimes when these bolts get loose, it tends to blow the gasket out. So yep, let me work on these, and then we'll see how it goes. I unfortunately can't get to that last bolt back there, and I'm pretty sure it's loose. I do have a wrench I made some years back that I would use on these, but I can't find it. And these header bolts do have a head on the face of them. They have a little hole where you can put an Allen wrench in there, which makes it easier, but I've been trying for probably 15 minutes to get an Allen wrench on that back bolt, and I can't get it in there. So it's probably going to be easier to get at it from the bottom with a wrench. You can't stick a socket in there. The header bolt is right up against the header, so you need to use a wrench. So I'm going to leave it as is for now. I mean, it's just a little bit of a tick. I did tighten up all the rest of them that I could get to, so hopefully that'll help. But for now, we're just going to leave it like that. And we got to go, man. They start taking cars at 8:30. Show starts at 9. We're already late as it is, so all right, let's get out of here. Well, that seems to have done the trick. I don't hear the tick anymore. It's actually pretty quiet now, so that's pretty cool. I'm pretty sure that last bolt there was pretty loose. So we'll get to that when we get there. Man, another issue I'm having is with my mount. It's a bullet point mount. I can't get it to stick to the windows. I use it on my truck, I use it in the Chevelle, I use it in other cars, and it just, you know, I've followed their instructions on how to get it to stick, and it just keeps falling off. The GoPro ones work a lot better. This one's fallen off a couple of times, and it's actually left some marks here on the dash, on the paint, where it falls and hits. It's left a couple of marks. So I don't know. And then the other thing is, when I put it on here, see what happens here? You can see the cup. I do have these in different sizes and different lengths, these bars. So if I get another bar that's longer, it'll bring it down and hopefully get it out of that view. But yeah, I don't know. I think we're gonna do just handheld for now. So otherwise, all you guys are gonna get is just a view of the cup. Anyway, we'll see. We gotta go. Man, it's a hot one today. Boy, it's humid out here. Whew. So I think all we're gonna do is clean up the windows on the Chevelle, and we're gonna get on the road. Goes my buddy Mike in his Pro Street Camaro. Looks like Joe's driving it. Joe Cantu. That's cool. Holy shit, guys! I almost crashed. Man, too bad I didn't have the camera mounted on the windshield. Some idiot pulled out of a side street without even stopping at the stop sign. He just pulls out, and I have to freaking go almost all the way to oncoming traffic to avoid him. Fortunately, this car has a very loud horn, and but still, he still went all the way into the inside lane. He didn't even attempt to try to move over. Man. Fortunately, the car has decent brakes, and I was able to move over, but my goodness, people are dumb. That's just what happens, man. When you drive these cars, you got to be extra careful. Taking it easy getting over there. I'm on the expressway, but my son's following me in the Chevelle, and the Chevelle does not have highway-friendly gears, so it can only do about maybe 55 at the most on the freeway at about 3,000 RPM. We do have a 4L80 and converter for it. We just haven't gotten around to throwing it in there, but I think we're gonna go ahead and do it. I found a cool little harness on eBay for $60 that plugs into the controller, I guess, into the plug for the 4L80, and it allows you to use the 4L80 as a full manual transmission. It's not going to have automatic. You're going to have to shift it through the gears, but that's the way the 400 is in the Chevelle right now. The Turbo 400 in the Chevelle is full manual, so you got to go 1, 2, 3, you know, and then you come to a stop sign, you got to go back to first, and then you got to shift 1, 2, 3 again. So You know, so we put the 4L80 with the full manual. It's going to do the same thing, so it's not a big deal. And the shifter is a 3-speed or a 4-speed shifter that's in the car already. So yeah, we'll probably put a video together of us throwing that transmission in there. So, you know, it's funny, in the instructions to the show it said do not get here before 8:30. Give us time to set up. So basically what happens is all the Corvette guys got all the nice canopies in the shade. It's all Corvettes in the shade, and then the rest of us are out in the sun. So oh well, it is what it is. It is a technically a Corvette show, and they just invited some other GMs, General Motors cars, to come out. So yeah, anyway, the drive over here is pretty cool. The 57 with the overdrive, cold AC. Check out the gauges. The gauges actually have condensation on them from how cold it was in here when I was driving over here. Oh, check this out. Shout out to my buddy Will. My buddy Will gave me this ice chest for my birthday. Has speakers in it and Bluetooth. And it's an ice chest. How cool is that? Anyway, shout out to my buddy Will, man. That's badass. Anyway, let's go register. See what's up. That's it, guys. Man, show's not over till 2. It's currently noon, a little bit after 12, and it is hot. Man, temperature on the phone says it's like 89, but I don't think so, man. I think it's way hotter than 89, or at least the humidity makes it feel like it's hotter, because it feels awful. Humidity, I think, was like 63%. So as we make this video, there is a hurricane in the Gulf. Hurricane Beryl, B-E-R-Y-L, Beryl. It's barreling down on Texas. So latest forecasts say it's heading north towards Houston, and right now it's making this area feel super hot. So yep, anyway, so that's it. Hope you guys enjoyed this video. We're gonna go drop off the cars, jump in another car, and go have some lunch, some barbecue joint, and cool off, man, because it's way too hot. So anyway, thanks for watching. Really appreciate you guys. We'll see you guys in the next video.